Right, let's begin. So, it's estimated that by 2027, 90% of digital communication interfaces will be powered by AI. What I want to know is, where's the 10%? Because I want to speak to a human. It's awfully annoying when you contact customer support and it's a chatbot. And if you actually do manage to somehow find a phone number and you ring them, a phone bot. But, as annoying as it is, we, as security professionals, are tasked to defend these systems. And this talk, I hope, will help you. Now, how did MITRE ATLAS come to be? Well, it all started in 2013, the MITRE attack framework. A wonderful piece of tool, a wonderful piece of kit. Close to a decade later, we got two new frameworks, Defend for the blue team and Atlas, focus on our talk today. Let's play a game here. Spot the difference. I'll wait. No one? Exactly. And that's because MITRE Atlas, much like MITRE Defend, is built directly on top of MITRE Attack. And that's for a reason. MITRE Attack works. We all know how to use it. I hope most of us have some exposure to it. If not, then you definitely should. MITRE Atlas, great tool for AI. What is AI? With respect to MITRE and MITRE Atlas, AI-enabled systems are, this quote here. Feel free to read it. But the TLDR is that it's an algorithm which uses logic. And if you can break that logic, then you can quote-unquote hack AI. Here are some common attacks on AI. MITRE Atlas defines 3 such vectors. First, AI access time. Now this can be either training or inference. Training is, well, I can't swear, but there's a common phrase in big data, bad in, bad out. So if you feed your model bad data, well, you'll have a bad model. Inference, the infamous prompt injection. We all know it. We've all tried it. It's fun. Sometimes it works. It's fun to jailbreak LLMs like ChatGPT too, but there are malicious purposes too. AI access points. So there's the fairly standard stuff like digital API attacks. There's also physical. Now this is very interesting. A physical attack on an AI access point would be, for example, well, when's the last time you used ChatGPT? You asked the question. What does it tend to do? Query the internet. It searches Google. Now, we all know about SEO, search engine optimization. If a bad actor can have his website jump to the top of the search results, then his website is queried and you will receive those results, those malicious results. There's also system knowledge. So the culture around AI, so to speak, is very open and honest. There's lots of documentation, white papers. This is a good thing for knowledge sharing, but it's a bad thing for bad actors, because they also read your white papers, they also read your documentation, and they figure out how to break your systems. Let's examine some case studies. Now, what I love about MITRE Atlas is its focus on case studies. There are a great many, but I've sampled 2. One has a good actor, one has a bad actor. This case study is an example of a good actor. German master student Ludwig Ferdinand Stump. I may have butchered the name, but moving on. So this German master student attacked MathGPT. And this happened last year, by the way. MathGPT used GPT-3 for its backend, and it was executing Python code that was directly generated by GPT-3. Ludwig Ferdinand Stump was able to infer this, send it malicious prompts, grab the host system's environment variables and the unsecured GPT-3 API key via prompt injection attack. He delivered a proof of concept showing that he could have incurred excessive costs and executed a denial of service attack. So this flowchart here contains a number of tactics and techniques. Tactics are the why. Why did this actor do this thing? Techniques are the how. So the first tactic, reconnaissance, AML.TA0002. This is directly mapped from the MITRE attack framework. The next tactic, ML model access, TA0000, is unique to MITRE Atlas. And then you have the techniques and so on and so forth. Now we can see his methodology here. He searched for publicly available resources. He did some iterative testing, which led him to believe that MathGPT was directly executing Python code. And then he carried on with experimenting with the prompts. Eventually, he was able to grab the unsecured API key and the host system's environment variables. He was a good actor because he kept in contact with MathGPT and he delivered his results. He didn't really act maliciously, more of natural curiosity, which I think we all do. Now, the next case is a very interesting one. Quite ingenious, actually, in the sense that it wasn't very sophisticated. In fact, I believe any of us here today could probably replicate this attack. And that's scary because of the scope and the scale of the damages. 2 individual threat actors in China were able to siphon off $77 million. Let me repeat that. $77 million over the span of 2.5 years by exploiting the Shanghai tax authority's mobile web app. How did they do this? Well, first, they bought victim information off of Darkmark. Well, that wasn't first, sorry. First, they bought customized low-end mobile phones. They then loaded those mobile phones with custom Android ROMs and a virtual camera app. Next, they obtained software that could turn static photos into videos and add realistic effects, such as turning of the head, blinking of the eyes, lighting, and so on. They then accessed black markets to purchase PII, personally identifiable information, of individuals within China and abroad. This information included everything necessary to register for the Shanghai tax authority, including, and this is key for this attack, high-resolution facial photographs. They were then able to use that information to make accounts and to use those photographs to evade the machine learning-based facial recognition service by which they verify themselves as these victims. With the shell company, which they had set up, they then funneled fake invoices, and through that method were able to, over 2.5 years, extract $77 million. I think we can all agree that you don't need a PhD to execute this attack. It isn't incredibly technical or sophisticated. These TAs accessed developed black markets for information. They bought off-the-shelf hardware, off-the-shelf software, and this is quite damaging attack. Are there any mitigations? The answer, thankfully, is yes. MITRE Atlas gives us 25 such mitigations. These mitigations cover 3 key areas: ML, machine learning, cyber, and policy. Each of these mitigations have an associated ID. Each ID has sub-techniques. So one of the mitigations is to limit the public release of information. I did mention this earlier, but It is quite a difficult topic. Some would say that this borders on security by obscurity. And we know historically that doesn't seem to work. Others would say that it's just best practice. It's difficult to say. As with all things, these need to be applied to your own unique environment. Key takeaways. These hacks are often less sophisticated than you think. So, again, the Shanghai Tax Authority attack. There was no coding marathons. It wasn't a huge team of nation-state actors. It wasn't a bunch of, teenagers fueled by caffeine. It was just two TAs accessing off-the-shelf hardware, off-the-shelf software, and employing an ingenious attack. Financial losses can be huge. $77 million US. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. This is just what's disclosed. Remember, there are companies which are attacked which won't disclose such information. And the thing with AI security is that we see how pervasive it is. We see how it's accelerating. And the adoption of AI-enabled systems into environments increases attack surfaces. A framework does exist to help defend against these attacks. It's called MITRE ATLAS. Adoption will accelerate further. It is inevitable. So do stay ahead of the curve and do not neglect the security of your AI systems. Now, the question I'm often asked is, this is great and all, but where do I begin? Well, my answer to that is the MITRE ATLAS website. Take a look at the case studies. There are a number of them. I think there are 24 or so. One of them may have some mappings to your own environment. Take a read through the flowchart there. Take a look at the tactics and the techniques. Apply it to the matrix. Now, I know we haven't discussed the matrix. We don't have much time to do that. But you can apply these case studies to the matrix much like you would the MITRE attack framework. So you can visualize these tactics and techniques. You can visualize the attacks and the attack chain. And once you can do that, you can begin to craft a theoretical attack on your unique environment. And whether you do that using tactics and techniques or the matrix, whatever's easiest, as long as there's some good outcome from there. Thank you everyone for listening. If there are any questions, please do reach out to me. I'm available on LinkedIn and my email is there. I set it up just yesterday. I'll forward to my email. And a special thanks to James Ball, my mentor, who helped me to deliver this speech and gave me some brilliant advice. And to Tom Blue, a good friend of mine, who urged me to apply for this speech. If he hadn't, then I wouldn't have. And last but not least, thank you to all of you, the audience, for your patience. Thank you.